Hi everyone, I'm your instructor Marilyn Picol, and for today's lecture, I'll be discussing about vectors and scalars. So we are now on week number 2 for physics lecture. Okay, so please make sure that you have your calculators ready with you and your pen and paper as we move along our discussion. Also, please make sure to go to the Google Classroom and then download the seatwork number 1 that you can find in the course in the classwork in Google Classroom. Okay, so download nyo muna po yun kasi later on gagamitin po natin yun as we go along with our discussion. Okay, so please make sure that you have that ready and also your pen and paper and yung scientific calculator. Now, kung wala po kayong scientific calculator, you can use the calculators on your cell phone as long as meron siyang scientific mode and pwede kayo makagamit ng mga trigonometric functions, yung sine, cosine, and tangent. Okay, kasi gagamitin natin yon in our discussion for today. Okay, so let's start our discussion. So for today's lecture, this is our learning objectives. So at the end of the lesson, students must be able to, number 1, recall the units of measurement used for base and derived quantities. And then convert one unit to another using the factor label method. And then differentiate vector quantities from scalar quantities and determine the horizontal and vertical components of a vector. And finally, calculate the resultant vector using the component method. So medyo mahaba po ng konti yung discussion natin. So feel free to just pause the video if you think that you need some rest or if you will solve the parts for the seat work. So pwede po natin i-pause yung video para makapag-focus muna kayo doon. Okay? So let's start our discussion off with one of the ancient problems before in the world is this. So before the 17th century, the system of weights and measures in Europe were very confusing. So ito pa yung mga time ng mga yung mga first civilization. So ang problema nila before is kung paano mag-measure. Kasi syempre, yung measurement natin is pwedeng magkakaiba depende sa tao. So before kasi, if mapapansin nyo, di ba, halimbawa sa atin, sa mga Pilipino, minsan ginagamit natin, di ba, yung dangkal as we measure some length, di ba? So ang problema sa dangkal, di ba, ang dangkal is like this. Okay, so yung haba na yan from your thumb up to this one. Okay, so minimeasure natin yung length using the dangkal. Ang problema doon is, syempre, tayo, iba-iba tayo ng length, okay, ng kamay natin, ng daliri natin. So, that could pose a problem. That is what the problem was like during the 17th century in Europe. So, the units of length and area and weight vary from region to region, which is basically true din naman kahit naman dito sa atin. Kung gagamit tayo ng units of measurement na ang basihan lang is yung parts of the body. Okay, now the solution came in 1791 when France developed the metric system to alleviate the confusion and the differences among the systems. So para maging standardized o para mas maging magkakaparehas yung mga quantities na pinag-uusapan. Okay, so kahit pupunta ka kung saang bansa o saang lugar, pag sinabi mong ito ang weight nun, ito talaga yun. Or ito yung length nun, yun talaga yung length nun. Okay, so it becomes standardized. So it's the same for everywhere. So however, the system didn't become widespread until the 19th century. So although it was developed in in the 17th century, pero hindi siya agad na-adapt and it took more than like 100 years before it was adopted because before it became widespread in the 19th century. So to keep track of the conversions between all the different systems, the SI system was created. So ito mga po yung ginagamit natin ngayon yung SI system or yung tinatawag natin na metric system. Now the SI system is, here it says that all system of weights and measures are linked to the international system of units. So in French, this is a French term, System International de Unités. Okay, so ito yung ano natin, yung tinatawag natin na SI unit ngayon or the SI system. So the SI system has approved a set of prefixes and base units that are the same all over the world. So kung halimbawa, pag pinag-usapan natin is bumili ka kunwari ng 1 kilong bigas sa Pilipinas, kung bibili ka rin ng 1 kilong bigas sa US, let's say sa Hong Kong, parehas talaga ng 1 kilo yon. So walang bawas, walang kulang. Okay, so same na same yung pinag-uusapan natin ng units. Now, these are some of the prefixes that the metric system actually adopts. So ito yung pinaka-decimal value nila. If you notice, naka-base 0 tayo. Okay? So base 0 yung basihan natin for the prefixes. Okay? So for example, ito. Pag sinabi nila say kilogram, okay? So titingnan natin dito, nasan ba dito yung kilo? Ito yung kilo. Okay? So the kilo here, this one is represented by in symbols, we use K, K for kilo. And kilo means 1,000. Okay, so scientific notation, that is times 10 raised to the third power. Okay, or this is 1,000. So pag sinabi mong 1 kilogram of rice, ibig sabihin nun, meron kang 1,000 grams of rice. Okay, so instead na sabihin mo na 1,000, ang sinasabi natin, 1 kilo. Kasi yung kilo, ibig sabihin nun is 1,000. Okay, next, let's move on to this one. So, katulad nga nabanggit ko kanina that if you combine the prefix and the base unit, you get the complete unit. Okay, so, for example, yung decigram, yung kilometer, and yung millisecond. Now, what is a physical quantity? So, sa physics, meron tayong tinatawag na mga physical quantity. So, a physical quantity is a quantity that can be measured and expressed in terms of numbers and units. Okay, so pag sinabing physical quantity, meron kang numbers and meron ka rin pong units. Okay, for example, you say 10 kilograms. Okay, this one is a physical quantity. Why? Kasi meron kang number, yung 10, and then yung unit mo is kilogram. Now, pag sinabi nating physical units, meron tayong dalawa na klase ng physical units. We have the base unit and we have the derived quantities. Okay? So, pag sinabi nating base quantities, or in some terms, we call this as fundamental quantities. These are physical quantities that cannot be defined in terms of other physical quantities, for they have their own units. Okay? Sila po ay unique. Okay, sabihin, hindi natin sila pwedeng express ng iba pang units. Okay, kasi meron silang sariling unit. Now, yung derived quantities naman, these are quantities that are derived from the fundamental quantities. Okay? So, ito namang mga derived is galing siya mismo sa mga base quantities. It could be a combination of 2 or more base quantities. Okay? So, for example, okay, ito. Ito po yung tinatawag natin ng mga base quantities. Meron tayong 7. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have the time, the length, the mass, the electric current, the thermodynamic temperature, the amount of substance, and the luminous intensity. So, a typical symbol natin, for instance, for time is T. And then for length, we can use L, X, R. Yung iba ginagamit ay D. And then for mass, you use M. For the electric current, we use capital I or small I. For the thermodynamic pressure, we use capital T. Or sometimes, yung iba ginagamit is small t, pero hindi masyado ginagamit yung small t kasi it can be confused with time, which is denoted with small t. Okay, so, mas maganda gamitin is capital T. And then the amount of substance, which is N. And then you have the luminous intensity, which is represented by capital I, and then you have a small subscript V. Now, pagdating naman sa unit, ang base unit ng time is the second, okay? And then the length, we measure that in terms of the meter. For mass, we have the kilogram. For electric current, we have the ampere. For thermodynamic temperature, we use Kelvin. For the amount of substance, we use mole. And the luminous intensity, we use candela. Okay, so ito po yung mga symbols na ginagamit natin for this base units. Now, pag sinabi natin derived quantities, for example, ito, area. Area. Ano ba ang common na ginagamit natin as symbol for area? We use A. And then, di ba, ang formula ng area is actually, let's say you have a square, so that's S squared. Ibig sabihin, S times S. Okay, so ano mapapansin nyo? Yung unit ng isang side ng square, let's say it's meter, i-multiply mo siya sa sarili niya, which is also meter. So that means ito magiging square meter. Parang sa algebra, if you have meter times meter, or M times M, you have M squared. Diba? Inaan lang natin yung pinaka-exponent niya because here, the exponent here is 1 and also here is 1. So 1 plus 1 gives you 2. Now, for example, for the volume naman, you have the, yung iba dito ginagamit is length times width times height. Pero if you notice, itong length, okay, itong width, ang base unit niya is, yung base fundamental or the base quantity is the length. Same thing with the height. Actually, length din naman yun, yung base quantity niya. So, kung lahat sila is measured in terms of meter, so that means that's meter times meter times meter. So, ano mangyayari sa unit natin? Magiging m cube. Okay, just like this one. Okay, and the list goes on. So, for instance, we have density. Density is mass over the volume. Okay, so ito mass over volume, yung pinakasimple. So ang unit ng mass mo is kilogram and then yung unit ng volume mo is cubic meter o yung meter cube na yan. So yung iba ginagamitan ng -3. Okay, for example, ito negative exponent. Ibig sabihin po niyan, you can also write it at this one, like this one, kg per m cube. Yan. So parehas lang po yun. Okay, so parehas lang po yan, just like what you're seeing here on this one. Okay, so same thing with the velocity. Velocity is displacement over time. Now, the displacement is measured in terms of meter, and then yung time is measured in terms of seconds. So that will be meter per second, or you can also write it this way. So mas madalas na ginagamit natin sa physics is yung slash, instead na ito, yung negative na exponent. Right? Okay, so here are the steps for converting units. So first one is that we identify the unit that you are starting with. And then you want to identify the unit that you want to end with. So yun lang naman ang kailangan mong tandaan. Unahin mo muna tanungin, ano ba yung given mo na unit? And then, saang unit mo siya gustong i-convert? And then after that, we will find the conversion factors that will convert the starting unit to the end unit. So using a fractional form, the unit you want to end will be the numerator and the unit you want to be canceled will be the denominator. Okay, so mamaya may explain ko pa yan using an illustration. And then set up the mathematical expression so that all units except the unit you want to end with will not be canceled. So ito na yung example. Okay, so yung mga sinabi ko kanina doon, ito lang example nun. So for example, we want to convert 36 inches to feet. Okay, so anong units ang involved? Magsimula tayo sa inches or sa inch, and then gusto nating mag-end sa feet. Okay? And then yung number natin dito is 36. Now, let's consider the conversion factors. So, ano bang conversion factors? Here. Now, we know, okay, in your table of conversion factors, or kung wala kayo nun, you can also check out Google. So, i-type nyo lang sa Google, like 1 inch is equal to how many feet? Okay, so lalabas yun. Or like 1 foot is equal to how many inches? So parehas lang po na pwedeng gamitin yun. Now, yung pinakamadali dito na conversion factor na magagamit natin is that for 1 foot, you have 12 inches. Okay, so yan yung easiest one. Okay, now, ang next step natin, kung ano yung i-convert natin na unit. Okay, so sulat ko muna siya rito. So 36 inches, ginagamit ko na lang symbol ha. And then, i-multiply natin siya sa ating conversion factor. Ito na yung ating conversion factor. Okay? Now, ang goal natin, matanggal itong inch kasi gagawin natin siyang feet. Okay? So, pag ganyan, ito yung unit na gusto mong ma-cancel. So, dito sa conversion factor, yun ang ilalagay mo sa baba. Okay? So, yung 12 inches, ilalagay natin sa baba. And then, yung 1 foot, nandito siya sa taas. Okay? So, what will happen now is that itong inch, maka-cancel. Okay, bakit po siya na-cancel? Kasi di ba sa math, kapag meron kang nasa numerator, factor na nasa numerator at nandun din siya sa denominator, sinasabi natin maka-cancel siya kasi that is just equal to 1. Okay, for example, you have 10 divided by 10 or 10 over 10. So pag sinimplify natin yun, that's just equal to 1. Or pag sinabi natin 1 million over 1 million, that's just equal to 1. So same thing din dito sa mga sa ating mga units. So, inch over inch is just, this one will just be simply canceled. Okay? So, ano ngayon matitira? May iwan ka na ng unit na foot. Okay? So, now, ano na mathematical expression natin? So, pagbasa nito, ganito lang. So, you have 36, okay? Times 1, okay? Over, ito na, 12. Actually, in times 1, okay lang kahit hindi nyo na isama yun. Kasi 1 is a special number naman eh. So, kahit i-multiply nyo siya sa kahit anong number, it will not change the value of that number. Okay, so carry lang kahit hindi nyo na isama yung times 1. So pwede nyo itong i-simplify as 36 divided by 12. Okay, and 36 divided by 12 will give us 3. So anong unit ang natira? You have foot. So this is now 3 feet. Okay, so therefore, 36 inches is equivalent to 3 feet. Okay? Now, let's have another example. So in example number 2, we want to convert 12 kilometers per hour, or kph, or sometimes we also write it this way, km/h, to meter per second, or meter then slash s. Okay, so sa physics, mas madalas ito ginagamit natin, yung m per s, or meters per second. Okay, so now how do we convert this? So pag ganito na mukhang complicated, okay, so wag kayong kabahan. So identify nyo muna ano yung mga units na kailangan nyo convert. Okay, so first, dito, dalawang units na involved mo. Meron kang kilometers per hour and meron kang meter per second. So yung kilometer, kailangan natin siyang i-convert to meter. And then yung hour, kailangan natin i-convert sa seconds. Okay, so now let's do the conversion factors. Now, we know that for 1 kilometer, meron tayong, di ba yung kilo, it means 1,000. So, ibig sabihin, ang 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. Okay? Now, ang 1 hour, ilang seconds to? Okay, so, pwede niyong gawin is that for 1 hour, di ba meron tayong 60 minutes? And then sa isang minute, meron tayong 60 seconds. So, that means that 60 times 60, you have 3,600 seconds. That is equivalent to 1 hour. Okay, so now, let's do the conversion. So, simulan muna natin dito sa ating 12. Okay. Now, ang pagsusulat nito, ganito. Ito, pag nakita nyo naka-slash, isusulat nyo siya as a fraction. Okay, why? Bakit kailangan naka-fraction? Kasi, para makita nyo kung anong unit yung makakancel. Kasi kapag hindi nyo to sinulat ng nakaganito na naka-fraction, pwede po kayo magkamali. Okay? Kasi ito is linear eh. So, hindi natin siya gusto maging linear. Gusto natin, pag may slash na ganito, yung variable na nandun sa baba, yun ang nasa. Ilalagay natin siya sa baba, nung slash. Okay, so now we'll multiply this to our conversion factor. Now, since dalawa yung unit na kailangan natin i-convert, that means dalawang conversion factors na gagamitin natin. So, ano pwede nating simulan? Pwede muna nating simulan dito. So, 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. Now, remember yung sinabi ko kanina. Kilometer yung gusto nyong makancel, diba? So, yung kilometer na to, yung kilometer dito, yun ang ilalagay nyo sa baba. So, ito magiging 1 kilometer in the denominator. And then, ang numerator mo is 1,000 meters. Yan. Okay? Now, ano mapapansin nyo? Yung kilometer ay makakancel. Kasi km over km is just equal to 1. So, ano lang ang natira? Meter per h. Okay? Now, yung next natin ang kailangan i-convert is yung hour. Gagawin natin second. Now, ang hour na to gusto nating matanggal. Okay, so ano mangyayari? Yung 1 hour dito sa conversion factor natin, ilalagay natin siya sa taas. And then yung 3,600 seconds, ilalagay natin sa baba. So what is now the effect? So makakancel ngayon yung hour mo dito at yung hour mo dito sa taas. So h over h is equal to 1. Yan. So now, ito nang meron tayo. Okay, so simplihan natin. So 12, okay, times multiply nyo lang lahat ng nasa taas and then multiply nyo lahat ng nasa baba before nyo siyang i-divide. So this is 12 times 1,000 and divided by, papansin nyo hindi ko na sinama yung 1 dito kasi 1 is a special number. Now, mag-iiwan dito sa baba is 3,600 okay, and yung unit dito sa taas magiging meter, yung unit sa baba magiging second. Okay, so now you have 12 times 1,000 divided by 3,600. Okay, so ano po yung value nito? So you can just simply like get your calculator for that. So let me get mine. So what I have is 12,000 divided by 3,600. Okay, so what I'm getting here is 3.33 is a never-ending decimal, so round off na lang natin. So that's 3.33 meters per second. Yan. Okay, there you go. Okay, so again, kung papansin nyo, yung unit na gusto nating makancel, nilalagay natin siya doon sa pwesto na makaka-cancel siya. Okay, kung yung unit na gusto nyong i-cancel ay nasa numerator, yung inyong conversion factor ilalagay nyo sa denominator. Okay, at kung yung unit naman na gusto nyong makancel is nasa denominator, yung conversion factor ilalagay nyo sa numerator. Okay, let's have another example. Okay, so we want to convert 10 cubic meters to 10 cubic centimeters. Okay, So how do we do this? Now, pag may ganito mga cubic units, it would actually be beneficial kung at least alam mo man lang yung conversion from 1 meter to centimeter. Doon ka lang muna sa base na unit. So, gusto natin i-convert ay meter to centimeter. Okay. Ito yung pinakasimple ha. Okay, now, we know that for 1 meter, you have 100 centimeters. Pero, ang sabi sa problem ay naka-cubic siya, naka-cubic units. So, pag ganito ang gagawin nyo, parehas yung kunin yung cube nitong dalawa. So, i-cube nyo itong 1. I-cube nyo rin yung 10. Okay, so ito ngayon ay magiging 1. 1 cube is still 1. So, that's 1 cubic meter. And then, ang 100 cube will become, okay, so yan ay magiging 1 million. Yeah, so you have 1 million and then ito magiging cubic centimeters. Yeah. Okay? So ito na yung ating conversion factor. So now again, we'll start with 10 cubic meters. Gusto nating matanggal si cubic meter. So dito sa conversion factor, ilalagay natin sa baba si cubic meter. Sa numerator, si 1 million. Okay, then this is cubic centimeter. Okay, so what will happen now? Maka-cancel si cubic meter. Okay? So now what we have is 10 times 1 million. So that's automatically 10 million. Okay, cubic centimeters. Okay, there you go. Yan. Okay, ulitin ko ha. Kung halimbawa, ito naman yung naka-square. Okay, kunwari, square meter. You want to convert this to square feet. Okay, so pag ganun, kukunin nyo muna yung conversion factor ng meter to foot. Then, kukunin nyo yung square nun. Okay, so para maging pareha sila na naka-square units. Alright? So with that, I want you now to go to your desk and then work on sheet work number 1. So meron po tayong dalawang parts dyan. So yung part 1 ay conversion of units. So you can pause this video first and then answer that part for the conversion of units. Isulat nyo po siya sa isang malinis na papel, okay? Kasi yung solution po ninyo, isasubmit po ninyo sa akin, okay? So meron po tayong submissions tab na ipopost ko po doon sa class works sa Google Classroom. Okay, so make sure you submit it there. Okay, kukunan niyo yan ng picture and then, or i-scan nyo po and then isasend nyo po sa Google Classroom. Okay, so I'm gonna give you time to work on this one. Just pause this video and then you can resume once you're done. Okay, so I hope you were able to finish sheet work number 1. Again, kung medyo nahihirapan po kayo, balikan nyo lang ulit yung video. So this is the good thing about having the video. Pwede nyo po siyang balik-balikan para mas maintindihan po ninyo yung naging discussion. Okay, so now let's move on our discussion to this. So what I have here is a car, and then if we will describe the physical quantity of the car, we will say that the length of the car is 4.5 meters. Yung length na tinatawag natin, this is again kanina, napag-usapan natin kanina, this is what we call as the physical quantity. And then yung 4.5 here, we can consider that as the magnitude. Sinabi nating magnitude, it refers to a size. Okay, it refers to a range. And then yung meter here, you have here, meter is your unit. Okay, o kanina na-discuss na rin po natin yon sa units natin. Now, ang tawag po dito sa sample na to, yung 4.5 meters, ang tawag po dyan is a scalar quantity. Now, a scalar quantity is a quantity that has only magnitude. Okay, so mapapansin nyo rito, meron lang tayo ay magnitude at saka po yung kanyang, kasama yung kanyang unit. Okay, so an examples of scalar quantities are mass, length, time, temperature, volume, and density. So, pag pinag-uusapan itong mga to, ibig sabihin, ni-expect lang natin dyan ay mga numbers lang at saka units. Now, let's try to compare that with this example. Displacement from USA to China is 11,600 kilometers in east. Okay, so as you can see here, yung displacement, ito po yung ating physical quantity. And then yung 11,600 kilometers, ito pong ating magnitude. But there's also another difference sa kanila. Meron ka na this time na direction. Kanina wala tayong minention about direction sa scalar quantity. So this time, kapag meron na po siyang direction, ang tawag na dyan ay vector quantity. So it is a physical quantity that has both a magnitude and a direction. So for example, meron tayong position, displacement, velocity, acceleration, momentum, and force. So itong mga to, madidiscuss po natin yan as we move along our Of course, so ma-encounter natin yan. Okay, so ang vector quantity parating meron tayo pinag-uusapan ng direction. So for example, ito, we have here tension force that is experienced by the rope here. So bakit, ano yung direction ng tension force dito? So assuming that this is the center of your rope, so this person here is pulling it towards him and then the other person is pulling it towards him as well. Okay, so dito, mapapansin natin na yung forces that they exert on the rope is acting in opposite directions. Okay, so hindi sila parehas ng direction. So yung isa papunta sa right, yung isa papunta sa left. Now, in these kinds of physical quantities, the direction matter. Okay, so kailangan take note natin na pag sumasagot tayo sa mga quantities na to, meron po talaga siyang kaakibat na direction. Unless hindi minention sa problem at hindi tinatanong yung direction or hindi na-mention, you don't necessarily have to write that down. Okay, so how do we represent a vector? Now, ang vector natin, we represent it as an arrow. Okay, so meron tayong arrow na yung starting point niya, for instance here, this is what we call as the tail of the vector. And then meron tayong arrowhead. Okay, this one represents where the direction is heading to. Okay, so yan ang bibigay sa atin ng direction. Now, yung length ng arrow natin, it represents the magnitude of the vector. Okay, so lalo na kung i-drawing natin siya using graphical methods, kung ano yung length ng ating arrow, we will use a scale to represent the actual value of the magnitude of the vector. So then we also denote the direction using the theta symbol kasi i-identify po natin kung ano po yung angle niya from the horizontal x-axis. So ito yung ating x-axis or yung direction na east. Okay, ang pag-measure ng ating angle, okay, is in a counterclockwise direction. Pag i-compute na po natin siya, okay? Kasi yung given natin, pwede hindi siya parati nagsisimula sa east ang direction. So pwede, it could be on the north, on the south, or on the west. Pero pag nagko-compute na po tayo, dapat yung angle natin is always measured from the positive x-axis. Okay, so like what I've said before, yung vectors din natin, pwede rin natin siyang i-represent symbolically with an arrowhead above it. For example, this one is vector A. So nilalagyan po natin siya na arrowhead above it, which means that this one is a vector. Now, some are represented also by the respective symbols with an arrowhead above it. So for example, yung position, sometimes we use R. Yung iba naman ginagamit ay X, yung iba ay ginagamit ay D. And then merong arrowhead above it. Yung velocity is V and then there's an arrowhead. Also, same thing with the force. Pero kapag ang kinocompute natin ay magnitude lang, usually hindi na natin ilalagay yung arrowhead above it. Basta alam nang natin na ito ay mga vector quantities. Okay, so sa vectors, meron tayong tinatawag na vector resolution. So vector resolution states that this is the process of splitting a vector into two or more vectors in such a way that their combined effect is the same as that of a given vector. Okay, so for example, ito, meron tayong vector A. Okay, so pag sinabi natin vector resolution, parang ano natin siya, hinihiwalay natin siya into two components. Yung tinatawag natin na horizontal and yung vector. Yung horizontal and yung vertical components. Okay? So parang ganito, ito, itong vector A sub n and vector A sub t. So yung isa is moving to the right. The direction is towards the right. And then ito naman is naka-incline siya along the northwest direction. So, itong dalawa na to, kung i-combine natin siya, ang effect ng dalawang vectors na to is the same as the magnitude of this vector A. Okay? So, yun yung tinatawag nating vector resolution. Now, when we speak of the components of 2D vectors, pag sinabi natin two-dimensional, na pinag-uusapan natin dito is just the x and the y-axis. Okay? Pag sinabi natin x-axis, ito yung horizontal. Pag sinabi natin y, ito yung vertical axis. So for example, this is your vector A. So we can split that into two components. Ito yung A sub x, ito yung vector A along the x-axis. So kung mapapansin nyo, kung ito yung ating vector A, okay, ipoproject natin siya dito sa along the x-axis. Okay, so yung katapat nitong tip is tapat nitong tip ng A sub x. Okay, and then yung starting point, nag-start din siya dito sa tail ng vector A. Similarly, etong a sub y, ito yung ating tinatawag na vertical component of your vector A. Okay, so again, ito yung head ng vector A. So, ipoproject lang natin siya dito sa y-axis. Okay, so ito yung head ng y, a sub y. And then yung tail ng a sub y is also the tail of a sub of your vector A. Okay? Now, sa math, minsan ginagawa natin dyan, we'd represent that with the letters I hat and J hat. So J hat is for y-axis and then you have I hat for the x-axis. Okay, pero for the sake of our discussion, mas ito yung gagamitin. A sub x and A sub y. Alright, so now, if we will go back to our vector A, so kung mapapansin nyo dito, etong length na to, okay, is katapat lang siya nito. Pareha siya ng A sub y. Ayan. Okay. And if you notice, what you're forming here is actually a right triangle. Okay, right triangle. Pag sinabi natin right triangle, meron ka ritong 90-degree angle kasi perpendicular itong line na to, yung A sub x at saka A sub y. Now, if we will consider this, and then you have here the angle theta, okay, we can say that the sine theta, okay, of this triangle is equal to, ang sine, remember, ang sine theta is equal to opposite over the hypotenuse. In this right triangle, ang A, ang ating hypotenuse. Pag sinabi natin hypotenuse, yun yung longest side ng isang right triangle. Okay, and ito yung makikita nyo nakaslant na line. Okay, ito yung nagdudugtong dun sa horizontal at saka sa vertical. Okay, so if you notice here, yung A sub y at saka yung A sub x, they represent the side of your right triangle which are perpendicular to each other. Okay, so ibig sabihin, kung itong iyong angle, ito ang iyong opposite side, ito ang iyong adjacent side. Pag sinabi po nating opposite, ibig sabihin katapat ng angle. Pag sinabi nating adjacent, ibig sabihin katabi ng angle. Okay, so huwag kayo malilito. Ang sine is para doon sa katapat, yung opposite. Ang cosine is para doon sa adjacent. And sila is divided by your hypotenuse. So in this case, again, the magnitude of A is your hypotenuse. So therefore, here we can say the sine theta is equal to A sub y over A. Or kung derive natin yung equation for A sub y, pag kinross multiply natin to, magiging A sine theta. So therefore, to get the vertical component of your vector, what we need to do is just to multiply the magnitude by the sine of the angle theta. Guys, pag sinabi nating theta, this is the angle that is measured from the positive x-axis, moving in a counterclockwise direction. Okay? So, very particular tayo doon na hindi lang siya basta angle. Itong angle na to is always measured from the positive x-axis, moving in a counterclockwise direction. Pag hindi po yun ang angle, kailangan nyo siyang i-convert. Okay? Now, here you have cosine theta is equal to A sub x over A. So, again, ito, pag kinross multiply natin, magiging ganito siya. A cosine theta. So, that means, ito, to get the horizontal component of your vector, you just need to multiply your magnitude of the vector to the cosine of the angle. Okay? Again, ang angle is measured from the x, moving in the counterclockwise direction. So, para mas malinaw, bigyan ko kayo ng example later on. Now, ngayon naman, kapag ang pinag-uusapan is given naman kayo, reverse naman natin. Ito, meron kang vector, hanapin mo yung components. Ito naman, meron kang components, hanapin mo yung tinatawag natin na resultant vector. Okay, so pag ganito, ang gagamitin po natin na formula is this. To get the magnitude, you just need to get the square root of the sum of the squares. So, ano napapansin nyo dito sa equation na to? This is actually your Pythagorean theorem. Diba? Sa Pythagorean theorem, you have c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. So, therefore, if you will get the value of c, that is equal to the square root of a squared plus b squared. Okay, so, bakit itong ginamit natin? Kasi remember, what we have here is a right triangle. Okay, wherein this is your a sub x, this is your a sub y. Okay? So, kung right triangle yan, para makuha mo yung value ng hypotenuse, gamitan mo siya ng Pythagorean theorem. Now, to compute for the direction. Ang direction po natin ang ginagamit natin is always inverse tangent of a sub y over a sub x. Okay, bakit? Bakit tangent? Kasi remember, di ba, yung tangent theta, this one is equal to opposite over adjacent. Okay, pag hindi natin alam yung hypotenuse, pwede natin gamitin yung tangent. Okay, so here you have tangent theta. So opposite mo is a sub y. Okay, over your adjacent mo is a sub x. Okay. So para makuha mo yung angle, gagawin mo, kukunin mo yung inverse tangent. Okay, kaya po siya naging inverse tangent of a sub y over a sub x. Alright? Okay, so now let's have some examples here. Okay, so example number 1, find the components of a force vector with a magnitude of 20 newtons acting at 20 degrees east of north. Okay, so first step na gagawin natin, i-drawing muna natin siya. Okay, so mag-drawing muna kayo ng vertical and yung iyong horizontal axis. Okay, so ito ang iyong x-axis, ito ang iyong y-axis. Okay. Now, in this case, given ka direction. Okay, so gamitin natin yung direction. So ito ay east, ito ay west, ito ay north, ito ay south. Okay. Now, ang sabi dyan, ang vector natin ay may magnitude na 20 newtons. Okay, so 20 newtons and then let's call that as vector F. Okay, gamitin ko na lang ha, F. Vector F. Vector F is 20 newtons, 20 degrees east of north. Okay, paano i-measure yung 20 degrees east of north? Dito po ba yun starting from the x-axis? No. Okay, so pag sinabing east of north, hanapin niyo yung word na of. Okay, kung ano yung second direction na sinabi, north, ibig sabihin dito ka magsisimula. Okay, you start from the north, and then saan to? Going to the east. North, going to east. So, sabihin ang angle mo, ito. Okay, mula dito sa north, pumunta ka ng east. Ayan, kaya east of north. Okay, again, ang reference point mo sa ka magsisimula is kung nasaan yung direction na mayroong pagkatapos ng word na of. Okay? Yung direction na unang binanggit doon sa of, siya yung kung saan ka papunta. Right? So, from the north, you go to the east. Okay? So, this is now your angle, which is 20 degrees. Okay? Yan. And then yung F mo, ayan, your F is 20 newtons. Okay? Now, remember, pinapahanap sa atin ay yung vector components natin. So that means if we will solve for the value of f of x, that is f cosine theta. Okay. Para madaling matandaan, ang cosine parating ginagamit sa x. Okay? Pag f sub y naman, ginagamit natin ang sine theta. Kasi yung sine is pang y. Okay, ulitin ko ha, cosine is for x, sine is for y. Okay? And multiplication lang naman yan. So, madaling matandaan yung formula. Okay. Now, pag nag-quiz kayo, remember, we will be doing this. Ang quiz po natin gagawin natin face-to-face. So, during the class natin, ng laboratory, since ako din naman yung lab instructor nyo, bago tayo mag-lab or either bago tayo mag-lab or pagkatapos tayo mag-lab, doon natin gagawin yung ating quiz. Alright? So, ang quiz natin is problem solving. And wala pong formula. Okay, so kaya kailangan kabisaduhin nyo po yung formula. Alright, so you have to memorize the formula. So, pag nagpo-practice kayo using the seat word, as much as possible, try to memorize the formula. Alright, so going back here. Now, kanina, di ba sabi natin, kapag nag-measure tayo ng theta, dapat ito starting from the positive x-axis. Okay. Now, ang problema, itong theta na to, dito siya nanggaling from north. Ito yung 20 degrees. So, ibig sabihin na kailangan natin kuhanin ay mula dito sa x going in a counterclockwise direction. So, ito talaga dapat yung ating i-consider na theta. Okay, so, para hindi na lang malito, tatanggalin ko rito yung theta. Para hindi kayo malito. So, indicate ko na lang na this one is 20 degrees. Okay, based dun sa ating given. 20 degrees. Okay. Now, how do we measure this theta? Now, remember, ito, yung first quadrant, this one is equal to 90 degrees. So, to solve for theta, this is just equal to 90 degrees, okay, minus, ito, minus yung 20. So therefore, your theta is 70 degrees. Okay? Now, pag ito ngayon sinubstitute nyo, ang F nyo magiging 20 newtons. Ito magiging cosine of 70 degrees. Okay, ulitin ko ha, emphasize ko. Hindi yung 20 degrees ang gagamitin nyo kasi yung 20, nagsimula siya mag-measure sa Y. Ang kailangan natin ay X, magsisimula sa X, moving in a counterclockwise direction. Okay, now, for the Y naman, you have 20 newtons times the sine of 70 degrees. Okay? So, using your calculator, ano makukuha natin sa value ng f of x? Okay, so that's 20. Okay. So, 70. In your calculator, pwede nyo gamitin ay 70 muna and then press yung cosine. And then the times yun siya sa 20. Okay, so what I got here is 6.84. Round off ko na lang 3 decimal places. This is 6.84 newtons. And then yung F sub Y ko. Okay, this one naman is you have 70 and then you click sine. Again, depende sa scientific calculator. May ibang scientific calculator, inuuna muna nila yung sine bago yung number. Okay, bago yung angle. And then, multiply natin siya sa 20. So, what I get is 18.79. So, round off ko na lang siya to 18.8. Okay, 18.8 newtons. So, ito na po yung ating components. Okay, ulitin ko. Pag kukunin natin yung horizontal component, yung magnitude ng vector, multiply lang natin sa cosine. Cosine of the angle. Again, the angle should always be measured from the positive x moving in a counterclockwise direction. Kapag naman vertical components, so ang gagamitin naman natin is the sine function. So yung sine of the angle, so times yung ating magnitude ng ating vector. Okay, so let's have another example here. Okay, so vector A having a magnitude of 2.5 meters pointing 37 degrees south of east, and vector B having a magnitude of 3.5 meters pointing 20 degrees north of east are added. Now, what is the magnitude and the direction of the resultant vector? Okay, so medyo challenging na to, no? Okay, so ang una natin gagawin is to always draw. Okay, parati kayong dun magsisimula. Magdodrawing muna kayo. Okay, so before anything else. So here, I'm gonna draw my X and Y axis. Ayan, pasensya na, medyo tabingi ang aking drawing. Okay? Meron tayong mga directions. So this is the north, this is the west, this is east, this is south. Okay, so i-illustrate muna natin bawat isa. So sabi dyan, your vector A, let's just call this as vector A here. Meron siyang magnitude na 2.5 meters. And that's 37 degrees south of east. Okay, and then yung vector B mo naman, this is 3.5 meters. And that is 3.5 meters pointing 20 degrees north of east. Okay, so gawin muna natin yung A. So ito ay south of east. So saan tayo magsisimula? Dito tayo muna sa east, okay? Of east. Papunta sa south. Okay, so ito yon. Yan. Ito yung ating 37 degrees. Ito si vector A. Yan. Okay? Now, si vector B, nasa naman siya? Okay. Remember, vector A is 2.5 meters. Okay. Vector B. This one naman is 20 degrees north of east. Okay, so nasan si east? Ito ang east. So, dito ka magsisimula. Okay, papunta ka sa north. So, ito yon. Ayan, so ito siya. Teka, medyo masyadong malaki yung angle ko. Medyo bawasan ko lang ng konti. Let me just erase this arrow here. Okay. So now, ito yung 20 degrees. Okay, so ito yung 20 degrees. This is your vector B. And your vector B is 3.5 meters. Okay? So medyo ba ako lang ako, medyo hindi yata accurate yung pagkakagawa ko. Okay. Anyway, just for the sake of the illustration, kasi gusto lang naman natin i-illustrate kung nasaan yung positions niya para hindi kayo mahirapan pagdating sa angles. Okay, so let's say this is B, this is 3.5 meters. Yan. Okay. Now, ang hinahanap natin is the resultant vector. Okay, so ang una natin kailangan gawin dyan, kunin muna natin yung mga components. So, yung x components at saka yung y components ng dalawang vectors. Okay, so let us first start with A. Okay. Now, sa A, i-consider muna natin ano yung angle na gagamitin natin for angle A. Okay. Sabi ko kanina, it should be measured from the east, moving in a counterclockwise direction. So, napapansin nyo, ito ay 37 degrees pababa. Okay, so remember, ang isang buong ikot, that is equal to 360 degrees. Okay? So, ima-minus natin doon si 37 degrees to get the value of angle A. So, 360 minus 37 will give us 323. Okay, so, 323 degrees. Si A. And then for vector B naman, okay, let's check. So, for vector B, ang sabi, from the east going to the north. So, since ito ay counterclockwise direction na, okay, from the east, ibig sabihin, wala na tayo babaguhin sa kanya. So, ito na mismo yung gagamitin mo, yung 20 degrees. Alright? So, now, next step is to solve for the x and the y components. Okay, so dito tayo sa a sub x. Ang a sub x mo will be a. Again, for x, you use cosine theta. Okay? And then for a sub y, that is a sine theta. Okay, so substitute lang po natin to. So kanina siya ay 2.5 and then 323. Okay, so this is 2.5 meters times cosine of 323 degrees. Ganun din sa kabila, 2.5 meters. But this time, gagamitin natin ay sine 323 degrees. Okay, so from my calculations, this is what I will get. So, ang a sub x ko magiging, okay, I'll just use my calculator here, 323 cosine times 2.5. Okay, so what I got is 1.99. So, round off ko na lang. Okay, so gawin ko na lang tong 2. Okay, so this is 2 meters. 2.0 na lang. And then for my a sub y, okay, this one is, again, 323 and then sine times 2.5. Mapapansin nyo po dito, makukuha nyo po na sagot is a negative value. Okay, so huwag nyo i-disregard yung negative sign. Okay, isama nyo yan sa calculations nyo. So for me, this one is negative 1 point, so never ending decimal, so round off ko na lang siya. So 1.50. Okay, meters. Yan. Now, let's do the same thing for B. Okay, so for B sub x, that's B cosine theta. So, ito naman ay 3.5 meters times the cosine of, ano ba yung nakuha natin kanina? That's 20. Okay, so that's 20 degrees. And then for B sub y, that is B sine theta. Siya po ay 3.50 meters. This is sine of 20 degrees. Okay, so using our calculator, so let's compute for that. Let me just erase this one. Okay, so B sub x is equal to, okay, so sa calculator natin you have cosine of 20 times 3.5 will give you 3.29. Okay, so that's 3.29 meters. And then for your B sub y, that will be, okay, let's do sine 20. So 20 sine times 3.5. So you get 1.18. So ni-round off ko na po. I mean, 1.20 na. Okay, so 1.20 meters. This is positive. Okay? Okay, now, so the next step is to add our components. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so add natin po siya. So for this one, you have a sub x plus b sub x. Okay, so ano po yung makukuha po natin? So that's 2.0 time, plus 3.29. Okay, so 2.0 plus 3.29 meters. So for this one, you'll get 5.29 meters. And then for your a sub y plus b sub y, okay, so this one is equal to, okay, so meron kang negative 1.5 1.50 meters. Plus you have 1.20 meters. Okay, so you have 1.20 meters. So this one naman will give us negative 0.30 meters. Okay? Okay, so now, the next step is to use the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so to calculate the magnitude of your resultant vector. So gagamitin po natin siya as R. Okay, gagamitin ko R. Ito is R sub X. Ito is R sub Y. So for my R, that is equal to the square root of Rx squared plus Ry squared. Okay, so substitute lang natin. So Rx po natin, that's 5.29 meters squared plus yung ating 0.30 negative meters squared. Remember yung may square naman yung negative 0.30 natin. So magiging positive po siya. Okay, so R now is, okay, so using our calculator, so let's check that. Okay, so using my calculator, so what I'll get here is, it's a never-ending decimal. So round off ko na lang. So this will become 5.3. Okay, so 5.3 or 5.30 meters. Yan. Okay. Now, syempre, ito yung magnitude pa lang. So wala pa yung direction. So kailangan natin kunin yung angle. Okay, so how do we compute for the angle for this one? This one now, to get the angle, so that will be the inverse tangent of R sub Y over R sub X. So substitute lang po natin yan. So this is inverse tangent of, ang nakuha nating value kanina for R sub Y is 0.3. Sa R sub X naman is 5.29. Okay, so let's do that here. So negative 0.3 or 0.30 meters divided by 5.29 meters. So if you can see, maka-cancel po yung unit ng meter. Okay, so using our calculator, so gawin muna natin 0.30 divided by 5.29, press equals, and then get the inverse tangent. Okay, so we will get here, round off ko na lang. So this is negative 3.2 degrees. Okay? Now, ano tong negative 3.2 na to? Remember, this one is measured from the positive x-axis. So kung negative siya, ibig sabihin, kung ito po yung positive x-axis, nandito siya, pababa siya. Okay? So pag ganyan yan, ito yung negative angle mo. Okay, so that's your negative angle. So we can say na for the final answer, you have R is 5.30 meters. Okay, the direction could be 3.2 degrees. So this one now is the south of east. Ayan. There you go. So kung gusto niyo naman, pwede niyo rin naman siya i-describe in terms of the angle na ano. Pwede niyo rin siyang gawin as 360 degrees minus 3.2 degrees. So ang makukuha niyo dito is 356.8 degrees. So pwede niyo rin siyang isulat as R is equal to 5.30 meters and 356.8 degrees. Ayan. Okay, pwede rin pong ganyan. Okay? So, yan. So, therefore, ito po yung final answer natin. The resultant vector is 5.30 meters. That's 3.2 degrees south of east. Or, you can also say that's 356.8 degrees. Okay, so anong ginawa natin? So, balikan natin yung solutions natin kanina. Ang first na ginawa natin is pinlot muna natin siya. Dinrawing muna natin para magkaroon tayo ng visualization kung ano yung mga angles natin. Kasi pag nagko-compute tayo, always remember that the angle must be measured from the positive x-axis here from the east, moving in a counterclockwise direction. So kung may mga hindi swak doon, ang gagawin natin is, i-convert natin siya into that angle. Okay, and then, next step, we computed for our horizontal and for our vertical components. Okay, so pag nakuha na po natin yung horizontal and vertical components for each one, i-add na po natin siya. Okay, so to calculate the resultant of the horizontal component and the resultant of the vertical components. And then ginamitan po natin siya ng Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so to calculate for the resultant. And once you get the resultant, it's now time to calculate for the angle. Okay, so yung angle po natin dito is Yan. So, meron tayong inverse tangent. So, that's r sub y over r sub x. Okay? And then yung angle, again, pwede na natin siyang express using yung four cardinal directions or pwede mo rin siyang i-measure yung angle mo from the positive x-axis. Okay. So, with that, it's now time for you to go back to the seat work and work on part 2, which is the vector resolution. Okay, so kung merong parts hindi naintindihan, just balikan nyo lang po yung video so that you can see, you can further review what to do on the, about the exercise. So for this one, yung seat work number 1 and deadline po ng submission ito will be on Sunday, that's September 8. So make sure po na you will submit it within the specified deadline. So maglalagay po ako sa Google Classroom ng link where you can submit your files. Okay, so ano siya, para siyang form and then you will just upload your answers there. Okay, so with that guys, thank you so much. So if ever you do have some questions, I am always available at the laboratory dispensing unit every Monday. Pasok ko kasi is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay, so nandun ako usually sa lab until 7 p.m. Okay, so if you have like questions or clarifications, you can contact me. You can come to my office or you can also send me a message through Viber. Pero kung may mga questions kayo about sa computations, mahirap kasi through Viber, so much better na you just come to me in person and we'll just do some consultations, okay, regarding your subject. Okay, so with that, guys, thank you so much. And I'll see you on the next lecture video.